You keep praying every night. Same words, same tears. You keep hoping that maybe today will be different, that maybe God will shift something, say something, show you something, but nothing moves. And in that stillness, a quiet ache grows. You don't talk about it. You don't post about it. But deep down, you're starting to wonder if he's still listening, if he's even there. People tell you to stay strong or trust the process, but they're not the ones lying awake, staring at the ceiling, asking why silence feels louder than his voice. You scroll past answered prayers, breakthroughs, miracles, and yours still hasn't come. And no one really knows how heavy it feels to carry faith that hasn't paid off yet. Not in results, not in change, just more waiting, more wondering. And somehow you're still here, still holding on, still whispering his name into the silence, still hoping, even now. And maybe the hardest part is that you're not asking for something crazy. You're not begging for fame or riches or some perfect life. You just want clarity, a small sign, a moment of peace, a little proof that he's still with you. But heaven stays quiet, and in that quiet, your doubts start whispering louder. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe God's tired of you. Maybe you missed something. And even though you don't believe them, not fully, they still sting. Because silence has a way of sounding like rejection, and waiting without answers feels like standing in the dark, calling out, and hearing nothing but your own breath. But still, you stay. Something inside you won't let go. Maybe it's habit, maybe it's hope, or maybe it's that tiny part of your soul that still believes he's good, even when it hurts, even when he's quiet. You see, waiting isn't just about time. It's about pressure. It presses on your faith, stretches your trust, exposes what you really believe when nothing is moving. And that's what hurts the most. The feeling that your faith is getting you nowhere. You've prayed the same prayers so many times. The words feel empty now. Not because they don't matter, but because you're tired of repeating what seems unanswered. You start second-guessing yourself. Was that word from God? Did I hear him wrong? Am I wasting my time? But something in your soul remembers. Abraham waited. Joseph waited. David waited. Not for days, for years. And God wasn't punishing them in the silence. He was preparing them, shaping them, not for the comfort they wanted, but for the calling they didn't see coming. And maybe, just maybe, that's what he's doing with you. You want to trust him, you really do, but it's hard to keep believing when nothing around you shifts. You've watched others step into their answers while you're still stuck in your questions. And no matter how many times you say, God's timing is perfect, there's still a crack in your voice when you say it. Because sometimes his timing feels like silence, and silence feels like distance. But what if it isn't distance? What if it's development? What if the waiting isn't proof that God is absent, but evidence that he's working deeper, not outside of you, but within you? Faith isn't just proven in miracles, it's proven in the silence. It's forged in the slow seasons, in the unanswered prayers, in the nights you cry without resolution. Because real trust is choosing him without updates, without signs, without proof, just him. Maybe you don't need another breakthrough. Maybe what you need is endurance. Maybe the silence isn't rejection, it's refinement. Think about gold. It doesn't shine until it's been through the fire. Not once, over and over. That's how it's purified. That's how it becomes valuable. Maybe your soul is going through the same, not because you're forgotten, but because you're being formed. And formation isn't fast. It's hidden, it's quiet, and it hurts. Because while you wait, no one sees the weight you're carrying. but heaven does. God does. And He's not ignoring your waiting. He's investing in it. Every prayer you whisper, every time you choose to trust instead of quit, every second you don't give up, He's collecting it all. Because what you're becoming matters more than what you're asking for, and He's not done yet. Sometimes we confuse stillness with absence, but God is never absent. He's just not always obvious. The silence isn't empty, it's sacred, a space where He's close, even when He feels far. Maybe that's the hardest kind of faith, not believing for a miracle, but believing through the silence. And that kind of faith doesn't shout, it doesn't sparkle, it holds steady, quietly. Faith that says, even if I don't see it, I still believe. Faith that waits, not because it has no choice, but because it trusts the one it's waiting for. You see, there's strength in waiting, not the loud, heroic kind, but the slow, holy kind. The kind that shapes character, deepens roots, builds people who don't just want blessings, they want the blesser. So if you're still waiting, still hoping, still believing, don't you dare think it's wasted. Heaven sees it all, and heaven moves on faith like that. What if the delay isn't punishment but protection? What if the door hasn't opened because the place you're begging to be in would crush you if you stepped in too soon? God sees the future you can't. He sees the weight of what you're praying for and loves you too much to let it land on you unprepared. So He waits, and in the waiting, He strengthens your spine, He softens your heart, He grows your roots, so that when the rain finally comes, you don't break, you bloom. We want fast answers, but God's not building fast, He's building lasting, and lasting things take time. So maybe this isn't silence, maybe this is strategy, maybe He's not ignoring you, maybe He's guarding you, because some prayers aren't answered when you ask, they're answered when you're ready, and even when you don't feel ready, He's still preparing you. Maybe the miracle isn't in the outcome, it's in you, in your staying, in your showing up when nothing makes sense, in your whisper of, God, I still trust you, when everything inside you wants to quit. That kind of faith doesn't make headlines, but it moves heaven, because the strongest faith isn't loud, it's faithful, quiet, steady, rooted, and maybe, just maybe, that's why you're still here. Because even when you feel forgotten, heaven hasn't lost sight of you. And even when it hurts, God is holding you. One day, maybe when you least expect it, you'll look back and realize the wait wasn't empty, it was sacred. So don't let go, not now, not after everything. Have you ever waited so long, you started to wonder if God had left? What did that silence teach you?